Hey, you guys, it's MJ from Alta Love. How are you? Once again, I'm just aware of not being super loud, although even when I'm trying not to be loud, I can be loud. So the thing is, about how much noise I make, it makes absolutely no difference to you guys. But I am in an environment with other people, and so I don't want to wake them up. Anywho, I can see you guys filtering in, so good morning. I'm happy to be here and happy to have you here as well. Um, so today's the day I'm going to share about the intuition, which is nudging me to talk about the next phase of our human evolution and how it relates to empaths all around the world. Rise and unite. um, Actually, like, this is kind of what Alta Love is about, and what this channel is about is like empathy, and the fact that in such a way, those of us who have inherently had empathy all of our lives, much of how we've directed um, our lives has been from that empathic understanding. Thus, we've not been able to quite squeeze ourselves in to some of the programming that is dominant in our global paradigm structure. And when I talk about the global paradigm structure, I'm talking about a few ruling elite whom, out of fear, control, or um, yeah, control the planet's resources and then enslave the people of the planet, um, or not just the resources, but the actual consciousness of the people. And so that, as a construct and as a vibrational frequency and also a perspective, based on many variants ultimately, um, is and we have to also understand it is our own disempowerment and our own, for the most part, unconscious choosing to enter this earth realm under that rulership. And as we start to shine light on the structure of that rulership, we're awakening more and more and more to our power. And there again is a function of an empath, because part of shining light into the corruption is feeling the disparity. So someone like me could never deny and ignore the oppressed, could never deny and ignore the poverty and the war cycles. It got me. I've most of my life have been deducing and looking at the underlying logic, reasoning, and or corrupted aspect, which thus creates these cycles, these poverty cycles, these war cycles, that we're in. And then the train, I talk about like the freight train, getting faster and faster, going nowhere, right? Or even just ready to go off a cliff or something like that. It's looking at how we're moving around the planet and how we're distributing, and that's part of the shift of the resulting paradigm shift, which is underway. We're in it, and then the you could say like the systems of operations that are gonna rise out of the new paradigm, and one of them is the resource-based economy. So over the next few years, we're going to see the beginnings of this entire structural shift taking place, and everything's in alignment with the source point, right? So it's like in different loops or holes, like YouTube holes. I'm talking about like rabbit holes. Um, we have, the option of really kind of shape shifting the structures, and they've already ultimately been laid out for us as well. And I think that's a really important aspect to share and offer people, like, just like calm, and it's okay, and everything is going to be fine. because people talk about the magnetic poles of the planet and the Earth's crust is moving. It's never not been moving. And I think that's the point of acknowledging and addressing the perpetual over sensationalization of everything through mainstream media, like triggering people. And so, um, the economy is gonna collapse, and like the poles are shifting, and so everything is this great event and this great cataclysm and drama, and actually what we want to heal from within us is those drama patterns. It's like, come away from YouTube, or rather, I talk about completely cutting out mainstream media, rather. So, like, no TV, no news, no trash mags, chalk ducks, whatever it is, like, just none of that. And ultimately, what I'm finding is like, wow, you can just stop watching TV and find all the news drama and fake news drama that you want on YouTube. And so and any other social media site. And so I'm aware, and this is in the teachings ultimately, that discipline and discernment and these faculties that mm, more and more people do have, but we have to acknowledge that not everyone has access to the education that offers up those faculties, that deductionary reasoning. And ultimately, we're all gifted, we're all unique in how we're gifted, and yet we don't all have the same gifts. Hence, mm, new paradigm, freedom break. It's that there's no fucking form to any of this. There's no right way, there's no dogma, there's no, like, it's like swing to the other end and then come back to balance. It's, we're not wanting some new tyrannical rule. We're dispersing rulership as an ideology that is necessary for human life to thrive. Because what we recognize is that dominant energy is squelching us, that dominant energy is actually destroying human life and the potential for expansion, right? So, why is this all connected to empaths? Unite and rise. It's that, rise and unite is how I put it in the title. But they can be interchangeable, obviously. Um, so one is that the empath's awareness is pretty pure, like pure, clean empathic awareness is very high vibrational ultimately. And this is part of someone like me publishing a book about all this law of attraction stuff. I'm like, yeah, just reprogram your mind and disconnect completely from the emotional field, which is what a lot of teaching has kind of perpetuated for people, which for an empath is just even more sickly. It's just like, not more sickly, but like, here we go again. Like, just stay positive, and then yet again demonize the empath for feeling all these feelings, right? But I think collectively we've hit maybe a critical mass or tipping point when it comes to the awareness of empathy and how it works. And we are acknowledging, like, the gift and the purity of the empath and the insight that the empath has when with regards to energetic exchange, integrity, and honesty. And this can only expand and improve as empaths come together. So now that a lot of us have done this kind of karma clearing and have been feeling and healing and processing not just our own karma and our own ancestry, genetic coding, but we've been actually doing this work for the collective on a kind of divine cosmic level. And now we're moving into recognition of that divine act, of that divine soul, um, I guess, like, gift for humanity. But like, it's all one. We know this from within. It's all one. It's all exchangeable. So that's hence why we are the way we are. Is that, like, I never understood the lying and the stealing, and or if I acted that out as a child or as an adolescent, I would feel the feedback resonance of that act. So maybe I went through a phase of rebelling and like stealing from shops, but if eventually that action caught up with my soul, and I was thinking, this isn't right, Molly. Like, you're, or the evil God's gonna punish you, right? Um stealing, taking stuff from other people, even like, and ultimately, and like straight up legit, it's like once you really go into the yoga vibe, you just don't. You're just like, I can't steal, lie, take stuff. It's like no matter how difficult or challenging, or no matter how poor or whatever we are, it's not right action. Does like stepping out of that integrity is just, you just know not to do it, because that's when you get back in that kind of negative karma loop, right? Or that vicious cycle. And then once you're, and you can see it and actually have compassion for people when they're in the midst of that energy, right? So empaths collectively around the world have like learned, integrated, and then and there's this arising. Um, the rising is part of, I would say, the divine plan, as far as that structural energetic shift. The rising is also part, it's one and the same as shining light on the corruption, so that the people in those realms of sociopathy or narcissism, they'll start to boom, they're gonna start to have some awakenings in their own right. Mm, and some of the trickiest little kind of corners of our population will be people that are really invested in their jobs, or in their work, or in their rightness, right? And so really, the more right we think we are, or the more we think we know, the more difficult and or challenging this shift is going to be, because you're not going to be able to do it how you used to do it anymore. Think about it, the pole is reversing, it's all in alignment. The magnetic pole shift is one with the rebalancing and realignment of the earth from the center, right in connection to the sun. And that realignment is a cosmic reordering that is like part of this infinity loop cycle of the planet in a binary solar system. So everything that we are experiencing is a divine flow of the planet herself, and that we're just now moving into a belt in the cosmos, so a portal in the cosmos, where we can also begin to align ourselves to our divination path, to the path of manifestation, which is really when you're aligning yourself with the God essence that you are, the signature, the unique, total, authentic self. And then you move through the world with that energy. And new paradigm and or new earth would say that our coding, our what we're healing and birthing into the world as this new paradigm is free from the construct of money, war, and poverty, free from that, because we've risen above the need for like an externalized symbol of our power. And we also recognize that that externalized symbol of our power has corrupted us. We've bought into the illusion of our own corruption. We've bought into the illusion of our own malevolence in nature. And we can either persist in that and align with the darkness, the shadow, the grays, the demonic entities which hook into us. We can continue and persist in that path if we want to continue to blame, attack, point fingers, or own it and transform it from within the light of your awareness. I just, that was funny. I just really got something. I just had a vision of a shopping mall for some reason. I'm not sure. Anyway, you guys, I think that's it for me today. But you know what I'm like? Sometimes I just like in the flow, in the flow, just go live. Empaths Unite and Rise. I want to talk more about this as a subject because it's like a prophetic thing. Again, this is also weird to me on my journey, but like this stuff, all this stuff that I'm doing, I had like prophecy about way back when I was just like drinking and partying at the time and like working in a cafe. Um, yeah, I had various like encounters along the way, like early days, like almost 15 years ago. But like these topics of like the rise of the prophets, um, economic collapse, like all these topics I share about have been in my awareness for like a long time. Um, and so getting to this point that I've been kind of like feeling into and moving towards for most of my adult life, it's like super exciting to finally get to like offload and like share this stuff with you and have it be received as well. So I'm just so thankful. Thanks for everything you guys do when you share and when you thumbs up and subscribe. It means a lot to me. I've actually just emailed somebody about spirituality simplified. Somebody's asked about that course, so that's always nice when I get random requests about it and people want to buy it. So you guys have an awesome day. I have an interview today in Primrose Hill, and then I'm going into Camden Town, and I'm going to be I'm doing an interview with a really gorgeous girl named Jess, and she works at a place called Young Vegans, which do like vegan pies. It's just like vegan comfort food to the max. And then she's gonna hook me up with some vegan mac and cheese. And then I'm gonna meet up with some friends after that. And then I'm driving back to Devon. But of course, the Young Vegans interview is for Also Vegan Love. And I won't be conducting the interviews today, but then I've got potentially two more vegan businesses. So next time I'm in London, if you guys know any London vegan people, or even vegan business people in your neck of the woods, maybe I could arrange like an internet or Skype call or Skype interview or something like that. Although, in fairness, I prefer them hanging out with me like on the screen and in the flesh. Mainly because if they have a vegan business, there is a great possibility that they're going to hook me up with some treats. So I'm going to have some vegan mac and cheese and get myself one of their delicious like Oreo cookie things. Ugh. Do you guys ever get that? Like when you see the photos, the people, the photos of food. I like mouth water. You know how dogs do that? Like they like start to like salivate because they're just like, oh. That happens to me. So anyway, you guys, I hope that was useful to you, and I look forward to seeing you on the flippity flop somewhere in the world. I give you love. Love, heart, vibrate. Virtual hugs. And do you know why with the virtual hugs, you guys? Because hugging is good for us, and I think generally in the world, as a world, just like as a world, people of the world, we just don't hug nearly enough. Like we just have a little few more steps. We're just baby stepping along the way, but we just have a few more baby steps to make before we are actually like full grown, loving, compassionate, mature souls in these bodies, human beings who can organize themselves and not kill one another. It would not be so nice. I love you guys. I'll speak to you real soon. Have a glorious day.